Hello. Yeah. Thanks, Abhi, for inviting. Myself, Syam. I'm one of the co-organizer of Taqelah, and I work with Carousel. And so we are running slightly out of time, so I will try to wind up a bit faster without losing any essence. So today we will be looking at how we can create a dashboard using Google Looker dashboards. So we will try to create two different dashboards. So I will show you the dashboard first. So the first one is this. This is about there are multiple teams, and over a period of months, how many bugs has been reported by each team. So there are 4 different severities of bug, and you can see that there is a time period also you can select. The second dashboard is about the test automation stability. So you have 3 different platforms you are running the automated test, and these are the automation passing rate that you are getting over the several months, starting from January to March 2024. My first question: anyone has created any dashboards in your organization using any other tool other than, or including Google Looker Data Studio or Tableau? Anyone? Cool. So have you created anything related to the test automation or testing metrics? Cool. Good to know that we have already tried or someone is already tried it out. So last year, I had a chance to create few dashboards, mainly related to the test automation side and the QA side. And why I chose the Google Looker dashboard, because that was the closest match that I could try in my organization. Believe that could be one of the selection criteria when you are selecting this tool, right? So there are other tools like the Tableau, Microsoft Power BI. So if your organization using what kind of product family, that's one of the accepted criteria you can adapt while you are selecting a tool. So why I chose Google Looker dashboard, because Carousel was using the GCP mainly. So this was the closest thing that I could find out, and all our databases were in the Google BigQuery, and many other data were on the Google Sheet. So one good thing about using this tool is like you can easily connect to multiple sources, because in order to display this data, you need a source, right? So for this demo purpose, I have created 2 sheets here. So the first one is, you can see that there is a bug ID, summary, and description, priority status, etc. for some of the bug attributes I just generated using ChatGPT. I just copied it over there. And in the second one, it's all about the automation execution status. So you can see that date field is there, what's the name of the test suite, and test case number, on which platform it has been run, what the status, and on which environment it has been run. Okay. So if you are creating a dashboard, the first thing you need to understand what you're going to display, which metrics you're going to select, what kind of data it will be displaying. So in this talk, I will not be focusing on which test metrics you should be selecting. I will be focusing on if you have already identified a test metric, how do you display it using the Google Looker dashboard. So earlier it was Google Data Studio. Now it's called Google Looker Data Studio, because Looker has been merged to Google Data Studio. So that's why the name changed last year. And so imagine we have this data ready with you. Now we need to identify how do we display, right? So like already show you. So this is the final visual representation of the data that we are going to build. So it's much more interactive. For example, let's say if you would like to select this particular graph, so it will be selecting that, showing that particular data. So you can see that you can interact with that one. Then if you would like to see only development team need to be showing over there. Also, let's say this is the March 2024, right? 2023. So you can select like If you select the last year data, then it will again filter out the data from January to December 2023 only. So sometimes it's a bit slow to load. That's one of the drawback that I have seen. But it's from Google, so eventually it will be okay. So let's build these two visualizing from the scratch. Okay, so let's see what we can do in order to create it. So what you can do, this is a free tool. There is a pro version, Google Data Studio Pro, but most of the features are already available on the free version. So if your team size is quite small, and if you have a smaller budget, or if you don't have any budget at all, so maybe something Google Looker Data Studio is something that you can try it out. And it can be easily shared with others, and you can have the email notifications triggered, so many things you can do it with. So in order to create a dashboard, just go to lookerstudio.google.com and you just sign up with your Gmail account. And to create a report, just click on the blank report. Okay, so now it will ask which data source you would like to read the data from. So you can see that there are many sources like Google Analytics, Google Ads, even the other third-party sources that you can add. So here I will be selecting the Google Sheet. So I'm selecting Google Sheet, then it will be ask me which data source I should be selecting. So I'm selecting the sheet one, and I'm trying to add it. Yeah, so just click on add to report. So that's not really a graph, right? It's just a tabular format only. So how do you build that one? And there is a style section. So if you look at setup, you can see that we already given the data source, right? So you can see that, is it out of focus? Oh, okay, yeah. So you can see that, so this assigned all the columns has been came here. And so there's a refresh field also here. And if you would like to add in, so for example, let's say, if you would like to make any change on that sheet, right? In order to reflect the data, you need to come here and click on the refresh data. Then only the new data, the new values that you have added to the Google Sheet will be taken care. And the second session is date range dimension. So we already give it bug creation date, right? So that automatically has been picked as date range dimension. Now, another dimension that added here automatically picked up is a summary, but we want to plot the month, year, right? So we should select date reported. Now, but this is not what we wanted. We had a graph, right? So instead of that, instead of the column, if you click on this chart, it will give you a few options what kind of graph you would like to plot. So I'm going to select the stacked column chart. Now, I got a graph, but it's not really what I wanted, right? So if you look at that one, x-axis, it's the date and some count being displayed, and you can see that website loading, basically it's a title, bug title description is being shown out there. Now, the first step, I want to change the date to month, year format, correct? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on this dimension edit button. Now you can see that there is a date option. I click on it, click on date and time, and I'm selecting year, month. Now, so that date format has been changed to month, year format. What's the next one? So yeah, so if you look at breakdown dimension, right? So you can see that a lot of colored items are being shown, and the description is being displayed over there. But if you refer to our graph, you can see that we need the severity of the bug. So instead of bug description, I'm just deleting it from there. And the breakdown dimension, not severity, it's priority, sorry. So I'm selecting the priority. Now you can see that it's been changed to the priority, and you can see that, okay, February, March, April, June, May, but it's still not starting from January, right? So what should we do? So if you want to control the date field, what you can do, there is something called insert. There is something called date range control. Yeah, sorry, control here. So date range control. So you select it over here. Now, if you want to see only last 30 days data, just apply it. So it will display only the March data. So let's say you already identified that I want a fixed date range. It's not changing. So you can use something called, so you select here and go to the advanced. Now you select it as fixed and you select a date range. So I need something from November 2023 to end time, maybe what we can do today minus 1 day. So this data is like, if you see this tomorrow, it will be like always getting refreshing. So it always like today minus yesterday date. So what else we need? If you compare the data, yeah, you can see that there is another drop down called team name. So how can you add that one? Now I am adding a drop down list and I am placing it over here. And if you look at some default value is picked up. So priority has been picked up. So I don't want priority in the control field. So instead of that one, I'm selecting the team name. Okay, now team name came over here. So if I select only the development team bugs I want to show, I'm just selecting that one. So it's been displayed over there. Now I want to see the high level data of the selected bug. So if you look at here, you can see that I can select this one. So I want to see what's the now you don't understand anything, like you know that it reported in January 2024 and it's a critical one, and it belongs to the development team. What about other aspect? What's the title? What's the bug ID? And let's say what's the description? If you would like to display this in a tabular format, what you can do? So you try to insert table. Fifth one. Sorry, I cannot find table. Okay. So table. Yeah. Now you can see, let's add more columns to that one. So what you can do, you select the table and in the dimension field, you try to add one more along with priority. I want bug ID. So that bug ID being added. Now let's say date reported. So you can add as much as details you would like to display on the tab. Now let's reset. So if you press reset, all the selection that you have made on this page will go. So you can start from again. So I would like to see this particular bug. So you can see that whatever I have selected, it's being displayed over here. So in order to make this change, right, because I have been creating this table, this dashboard earlier, so some settings been already added. If you look at the bottom part, there is something called cross filtering. So you need to make sure that this cross filtering has been turned on. If you switched off it, even though if you select, the table won't be updated, because cross filtering enables you to make sure that whatever you have selected on the first graph, that will be drilled down and that particular selected information being displayed on the tabular format. Another Yeah, so that's what I wanted to say. Then, in order to work the date range, you need to make sure that you have selected the auto functionality over here. So there is something called default range is custom. So if you have selected a custom, then when you are selecting the date range, it won't be updated. It should be always auto. That's another feature that we need to make sure that. Cool. Any question from this part? So basically, Google Looker dashboard is so easy. You don't need any programming skill, except if you would like to create the data. For example, let's say you are using Jira, and all your tickets are in Jira, and you would like to create a similar data source like Google Sheet. So we cannot really connect directly to Jira because Jira could be in any project, and you might have different customization. You will be using different labels. So Google Looker's data dashboard doesn't know anything about what you have customized on Jira, right? So in order to really, you need to export all the necessary ticket details into a Google Sheet or any database. So you need to write some script. So call the Jira API, get all the result you want, keep it in a data source, and then connect it. So that's a one-time activity. Then creating the dashboard is pretty easy. You really don't need any programming language. It's just a drag and drop. So compared to Tableau, right? Tableau has a not so much, but a bit of learning curve is there. But compared what I really like about Google Looker dashboard, um, you can just create it. After this session, you can go and you can create it easily. It's very straightforward. Question? Yes. So for example, let's say you have two tables and you want to merge these two tables. So there is an option called, I'll show you. So there is something called blend data. So if you are using blend data, then you can write your own queries and get the data from two different sources and combine to a single source. So it will be very helpful. Let's say whatever be the visualization that you need, it resides in different data sources, and you would like to mix it together and get it reported. So blend will be helping you on that. Cool. I will go to the next one, and we will reserve some time for at the end of the next dashboard. Next one, it's more interesting. So now, in the earlier report, we just displayed all the data as it is, right? But how do you really plot the percentage? What pass percentage? How many tests has been passed? How many tests has been failed? How do you plot that one? How do you really give that input to the Google Sheet? Because if you remember the sheet that I have shown, right, it doesn't contain any pass percentage or fail percentage. So it contains platform, test case, status, environment. So how do you plot that? Anyone can guess? Okay. Okay, so in this sheet, right, I'm just displaying the data directly over the dashboard. That's how it worked in the previous one, correct? But here there is no pass percentage, correct? How many tests has been out of X test, N test has been passed. And if you look at the dashboard, we are plotting the percentage here, not any other data. See, if you hover over here, so it's like on June, then it's like web 75%, 75.83 percentage, iOS 75.56, then Android 76.67. So how do you get this data from this sheet? Because it doesn't contain any number, right? Sorry, anyone? Mike can use, yes. So there are few like aggregate methods or sum or ABS or small syntax. Like you don't need to add too much complex coding, but it support a few um, coding logic. Like if you would like to get a sum of all the records, so you find an average, it support. So what the logic we need to use here? So let's say pick up Okay, so this is January 4th, 2023, right? So on staging, how many iOS tests has been run on that one? Basically, it's only one, and it's passed, correct? Then, if you would like to get the monthly based data, just get the sum of all the tests which we will sort it based on the entire sum of passed. So we will be getting like how many tests has been passed in that month, how many tests has been failed in that month. Then we will find it out by number of tests passed divided by number of tests passed plus number of tests failed. Then plot the average of that one. But if you look at the advantage of Google Looker Studio is like you really don't need to write any uh, expression on the Google sheet in order to derive that formula over here, because the Google data Looker Studio will be automatically find it for you. So I will tell you how. So we have running out of time, so I will directly just go to this one. So it's pretty similar. The environment select date range is similar to the previous dashboard. It's a control button. Now on this dashboard, what I have done, breakdown parameters, platform. So you can see that web, iOS, Android being displayed over there. And I have two operational metrics I have created called total fail test and total pass test. So how you can create a operational metric? So you come here. So create add a field. So if you would like to create a new field on the top of the Google Sheet columns, you can use this method. So it will ask you, okay, so what should be the field name that I should be using? And you just had the formula here. If you look at the total field test, so I have a formula here like some case when status is equal to failed, then return 1, else return 0. That's the syntax that Google data looker data studio provides. So which means that if you find a row with status as failed, we will be returning 1. Then we take the sum of all the count. So which means that it depends on which data range you have selected, these 1 will be added together. Finally, you will be getting sum. So in the second one, formula is pretty similar. Number of pass tests. Instead of failed, I have given status is equal to passed. Then it will be returning the sum of ones. Now I have two counts, one total number of pass tests and total number of failed tests I got it. Now I created a third variable and I added this formula. Basically, it's similar to the common syntax. So total pass tests divided by total pass test plus total failed test into multiply into 100. So it will give you the passing rate. So again, you can again convert this into what the weekly pass rate or daily pass rate depends on how do you want to display. So what I have done in my organization, like we have both monthly automation stability, weekly automation stability also. So we review it weekly, and we find out that hey, we have a issue like last week it was 99%, and this week it fell down to 80%. What's really happening? So there is a weekly quality review being happening. It's been shared with multiple teams, and we will be again drilled down. So this can be shared with all relevant stakeholders, and they will get to know how our automation testing performs actually. So that's about it. I think we are 20 minutes late. So basically, to summarize, this is pretty easy. Anyone can try this one, and you don't need to pay anything. And especially in your organization, it's you are already in the Google product family. This will be the best suit. But if your team has already adopted any other dashboard like Tableau, it will be quite difficult to convince that you can use this one, because many people may be already familiar with other tools. But if you would like to introduce it to, this is one of the best one that I can recommend. Cool. That's it. That's the end of my presentation. Any questions? Yeah. Yes. So let's say that's the first step that I have tried. So every time when a test run, you need to get all these details. So which test has run, on which environment run, which platform it's picked up. So if you are using Selenium, I think there is after hook methods if you're using Cucumber or JUnit. Like, so after hook, you will be getting all these details, which test case you have run, and you already know on which environment you have been run. So you should be able to design this one. So what we do, when a test been successfully executed, we collect all this data, we will insert into a BigQuery table. So every time when I run, this keep on getting increasing. So earlier we used the Google Sheet. The problem with the Google Sheet is that there is a large amount of data need to be inserted into the Google Sheet. And there is a limit in which maximum rows will be supported by the Google Sheet. And it will be very difficult to load the Google Sheet. And finding out, querying it, it will be difficult. So if you have a large volume of data, I recommend using a database. Google Local Studio support a number of databases. So that should be the first step. You need to collect your data. Then identify which dashboard you need to build, how does it look like, and how do you interact with it, and start building. Once it's done, then I didn't see that much, because once your requirement is finalized, let's say you would like to get one more additional column. Let's say you haven't thought of initially, right? But you already having a fixed number of data. So you need to do a few update to your table. You need to make sure that it doesn't break, because all the other values which were going to be null because you are introducing a new table. You need to alter the table. Other than that, it should be okay. So once you create the dashboard, right, it's gonna stay there. Like, you can make any changes at any point of time, but it's a one-time effort only. Most probably, once you finalize which data you need to use, that also a one-time effort only. No problem. So if you have questions, always feel free to reach Taqelah. So you can message us if you have any more questions. Also, the talk will be recorded and uploaded to the YouTube. You can refer at any point of time. You just need some time to edit the talk, so it will be uploaded.